What if one morning, without warning or reason, Earth began to shrink? Not a catastrophic explosion, not a slow drift into the sun, just shrinking. Silently, steadily, as if the planet had taken a deep breath and started exhaling into itself. The continents didn't crack, the oceans didn't boil, at least not at first. But satellites began to orbit just a little faster. GPS signals misaligned. Air pressure ticked slightly upward. And most unsettling of all, the horizon seemed just a fraction closer than yesterday. At first, it was dismissed as atmospheric distortion, optical illusion, a quirk of geology. But the numbers kept confirming it. Earth's diameter was decreasing. A centimeter here, a meter there. Then kilometers. And still, the ground held, cities stood. People shrugged and kept going to work. But eventually, there was no denying it. Earth was shrinking, and it wasn't stopping. Soon, the consequences began to unfold like a slow-motion collapse. Gravity intensified by imperceptible degrees, enough to make long walks tiring, and climbing stairs feel like scaling cliffs. Skyscrapers, engineered for a particular gravitational constant, began to creak under their own weight. Rivers narrowed. Lakes vanished. Coastal cities found themselves suddenly landlocked. Flight became increasingly difficult. Planes required more thrust, more fuel, until eventually the sky emptied altogether. And inside homes, a new war began, not over land or money, but space. Closets became bedrooms. Kitchens compressed into corners. Ceilings pressed downward like the sky itself had started to crouch. Every day, living spaces got a little tighter, like the walls were breathing in with the planet. People adapted at first with stubborn optimism. Furniture was modularized, homes were re-engineered vertically, possessions were sold, donated, discarded. The minimalist movement wasn't a trend anymore, it was survival. Families consolidated into single rooms. City councils redrew zoning maps every week. Laws were passed limiting personal square footage. Micro-living turned into nano-living. Architects started designing homes like Tetris puzzles where beds folded into ceilings, showers doubled as toilets, and dinner tables were projected holographically just to save surface area. Entire city blocks shrank into stacked capsules like drawers in a planetary filing cabinet. But with compression came conflict. Personal space became a memory, then a luxury, then a myth. Privacy dissolved. Emotions amplified. The smallest argument echoed like a hurricane in a hallway. Urban areas became pressure cookers of stress and noise and breath. Some fled underground, carving shelter into shrinking bedrock. Others took to the skies in balloon-like dwellings that hovered as long as Earth's vanishing atmosphere could support them. But even these refuges grew smaller, tighter, lonelier. The question emerged, when space itself is disappearing, what version of humanity survives? Psychologists warned of spatial claustrophobia syndrome, a rising panic response to the loss of physical boundaries. Children who never knew playgrounds, only crawl spaces. Elders who remembered wide-open fields, now crammed into airless domes. Artists painted on grains of rice. Libraries shrank to chips embedded in neural implants. The only thing that seemed to expand was data memories uploaded to servers the size of marbles. Thoughts compressed into light pulses bouncing in miniature neural networks. Minds got sharper, bodies leaner. Humanity began to evolve, not just technologically, but biologically. Limbs shortened, lungs adapted. Social norms rewired. Physical interaction dwindled into gestures, glances, digital signals. Love letters were composed in the space of a syllable, and still, Earth kept shrinking. The moon loomed larger in the sky. Tidal patterns warped. Seasons flickered faster. Oceans no longer touched every continent. They became deep puddles guarded like treasure. Animal life vanished in waves. Only species able to flatten, curl, fold into their surroundings survived. The biosphere became a pressure chamber of extremophiles. Food became molecular. Farms operated inside drawers. Space agencies launched desperate missions to terraform larger bodies, Mars, Titan, Europa. But even those places seemed too vast now, too empty, too foreign to a species that had become used to curling up inside itself. Then, inevitably, humanity passed a threshold. Cities were now hive-like clusters suspended in orbit around a planet no larger than a football. Earth had become a mythic core, a sacred relic encased in shielded domes, visited only by historians and poets. Generations had grown up never setting foot on it, and yet humanity endured. Spread across tiny habitats, floating in gravitational harmony, we learned to inhabit smallness with grace. We found meaning in compression, beauty in simplicity. With less space came more intention. Every action, every movement, every breath, deliberate. Eventually, scientists discovered Earth's shrinkage wasn't random, it was part of a cosmic cycle. A pulse of the universe folding in on itself like lungs preparing for a second breath. Perhaps one day, it would begin to grow again. Perhaps not. But in that moment, Earth was a diamond dense, brilliant, eternal. And we, the specks upon it, had learned to bloom in the smallest of places. To live not just on Earth, but within it. To find infinite stories inside finite walls. And perhaps in a universe that's always expanding or collapsing. That's all we've ever really needed. A place just big enough to hold our humanity.